What's cracking, everybody? It's your favorite life coach, Tony Robbins' skinnier cousin, Boney Robbins, and I'm here today to talk about ego death. But we're actually going to flip the script because actually I think the idea of trying to kill your ego is stupid as and we're going to redefine what it means to kill your ego. We're going to realize that one, not only is it impossible, and two, it's actually extremely unnecessary and maybe actually counter-beneficial to being a human being. Counter-beneficial. Not sure if that's a word, but we're going to get right into it. Let go! Now, this is a concept that has come up a lot. This is a concept that I've heard a lot of people say, like, I'm just working on, destroying my ego. I'm just working on detaching from my ego. I'm working on overcoming my ego. So if we're going to talk about killing the ego, we should figure out first what the ego is, right? Like, we're not the US government. We don't want to just go around killing things if we don't know what they are. Hot take. When I did some research on what the ego is, I learned that there's actually a couple different ways of looking at it. Sigmund Freud, what's up Sigmund? He realized that the brain operates primarily in three fashions. One is the id. The id essentially is the caveman. The id is the part of you that just wants primal desires met. So that is, I want to have sex. That is, I need some food. That means I need water. The things that keep you alive, that is what your id is focused on. Now, obviously, if you were just focused on your id, life would be maybe a little bit less civilized. So enter in the super ego. The super ego is the part of your brain that navigates reality in relation to the moral context, in relation to the laws and the culture that you live in. So the id will say, yo, we haven't had sex in like 14 hours. I'm super horny. We should just go and have sex with that person. The super ego will jump in and be like, okay, I get it. But that person is a cashier and we're in a 7-Eleven. And if we were to just do that, not only would there be legal repercussions, but it would probably hurt our social standing in civilization. It would probably be harder for me to get a job and security if I were to just follow the id in this particular instance, or idstance, if you will. Terrible joke. Now, that is not to say that the super ego just comes in and just completely says, we're never gonna eat, we're never gonna drink, we're never gonna have sex, blah, 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 because that would also lead a boring life and you would be Mormon. So you have the super ego and you have the id, right? These guys are constantly at odds. These guys are constantly saying, well, I have wants. Well, we have a structure that we should live in. So we need a mediator. We need couples therapy. In comes the ego. The ego is the mediator between the innate primal desires that are programmed into your caveman mind and the super ego. The super ego being all of the rules and regulations, the place in society. The ego is who sits behind the steering wheel while the id and the super ego sit in the back seat arguing over, I want to get laid. Well, too bad, that's your cousin, right? That's how we, Jesus Christ. The ego is the one who's driving the car that says, look, guys, chill out for like 45 minutes. We're on the way home. When we get home, we'll go on Tinder. We'll set the parameters up so that your cousin isn't included in the list, and we'll make decisions from there so that everybody's happy, right? Why would you want to kill the part of you that's mediating, that's balancing, that's creating equilibrium between your desires and your place in the world on the outside? Your ego is very necessary and it's very helpful. It's actually why you were given it in the first place. What I think is really interesting is that people conflate the idea of ego with arrogance. And I think that's actually what they're trying to get at. That's actually the root of what everybody is maybe unconsciously trying to rid themselves of. Let's be very clear on the language that we're using so that we can actually use our processes more creatively and more effectively, right? So when you say you're trying to kill your ego, what you're not trying to kill is your ego. What you're actually trying to kill is your insecurity and your arrogance. You cannot operate without your ego. And even to try to pretend like you could do so, it's actually damaging to the idea of the sense of self. Right now, we need more and more people who are grounded in who they are and what they can do for the world through the lens that they exist in. When I lose my ego, when I lose my sense of self, when I lose who I am, I cannot offer you unique, tangible value that could only come through my own experience. So just wanted to clear that up. I just wanted to talk about it today. But yeah, in the meantime, just Kanye West for president 2020. Whew, just kidding. That was a hot take.